at the Grand Galloping Gala of the Lunaverse, episode 26 by Rainbow Double Dash. Yes, I made it this time. Chapter 12, Objects in Motion, Part 2. Carrot Top shuffled about on her hose uncomfortably as she trying to keep out of sight of Archie's fixer, even as she tried to keep him in her own sights. She dug down a few times to get it out of his line of sight, and tried to keep a few ponies between her, moved furtively, and basically did all the things that those crime novels that Trixie liked to read, and occasionally loaned to her, told her to do to shadow some pony. You could be a little more obvious, Maitre D said, but I'm not exactly sure how. Carrot Top jumped, though she settled down after she realized it was only Suzanne. Then immediately, if unconsciously, took up a defensive posture, noticing that it was Suzanne. For Carrot Top's eyes, the unicorn just seemed to change. She was suddenly wearing a dress that looked more appropriate for the gala than Carrot Top's own. Don't scare me, she whispered. No pony is listening to you, Suzanne responded in a normal speaking voice. You could talk normally. No pony's going to think that a little country mare like you is a scheming noble. Carrot Top glared at her at that, cheeks puffing up slightly. Suzanne only chuckled, holding a hoof up. Relax, little mare. Most ponies would take that as a compliment. Did you mean it as a compliment? Carrot Top inquired. Not really, Suzanne answered. She looked past Carrot Top and back past Archie's fixer. Planning on hitting him up? Carrot Top remembered what Trixie said. Ponies like Suzanne are hired by one noble to get revenge on another as often as anything, Trixie had said. So, Carrot Top, shallow Archie Fisher, makes Suzanne think that you're going to poison him, but don't let Fisher see you. When she asks why, tell her because I want revenge on him for the stuff in the paper. That'll help her buy everything. She'll end up wasting more time trying to poison the Archduke. Your pony farmer nodded in response to Suzane's question. Yes, I'm going to, because Trixie wants... Forget it. Too difficult, Suzanne said. See the monocle he wears? It detects magic. I don't know if it will be necessary to detect the truth as a scourge, but I don't think we should risk it, right? Carrot Top blinked. That wasn't what Trixie had predicted Suzanne would say. No, she guessed. Not a good noble to try and blackmail on anyway, Suzanne said. Carrot Top noted that Suzanne did speak a little quieter when talking openly with blackmail. It leaned to the Carrot Top as well. Apparently, her nonchalant attitude would only stretch so far. He's sort of a sort enemy to have. Trust me. Ah, but there we go. Carrot Top followed where Suzanne's gaze had shifted, and found herself looking at two ponies. A slate gray earth pony stallion dressed in northern fineries, and his apparent date, a pale yellow Pegasus mare with sharp pink hair, wearing a loose and airy ensemble that was common amongst Cloud City Pegasi who decided to dress up. Those two are the kind we're looking for, Suzanne said, as she guided Carrot Top towards them, her dress once more shifting, without flats or any kind of apparent magic, to be that of a maitre d'. Baron Monty Max. He's new to the court, which means he's ended up accidentally committing all kinds of blunders he's just learning to sweep under the rug. The other is Duchess Fragrant Posy. She's not new, but she used to be, you know. She's made some mistakes that she's going to keep buried forever. Carrot Top blinked. Posy? She asked. Yes. Fluttering Posies is aunt, saying with a simple smile. Or is it Fluttershy? Carrot Top jumped slightly at that, and she looked at Suzanne with a little more trepidation. What do you know about Fluttershy? She demanded. The timid Pegasus back at Ponyville didn't exactly advertise she was related to one of the most powerful family of ponies in Equestria. Suzanne's smile grew. Oh, I know all sorts of things, Miss Top, she said, placing a hoof on Carrot Top's withers. She leaned in next to Carrot Top's ear, whispering, It's my job. Now, so far, three of you elements have been completely inept at getting some pony poison or letting me do the job myself. Please try to be better. She shoved Carrot Top forward. Not hard, but enough that Carrot Top found herself standing in front of the Baron and Duchess quite suddenly. Noble Pony stared at Commoner for several seconds. Carrot Top's mind whirled. She had an entire act planned out in her head for dealing with Archie Fixer, as she ordered him to talking about the Farmers' Union of Ponyville, and somehow that would relate to his industrial work. They'd get on friendly terms, and Carrot Top would spend the rest of the night keeping him safe from Zane and the truth poison. But now that was apparently out the window. Or was it? As Zane tossed her over her to get away from Fisher, was she even now poisoning the Archduke? While Carrot Top stood there staring stupidly at the Duchess and Baron and "Excuse me," Baron Montague said, scuffing one hoof on the floor. "Might we help you, miss?" Carrot Top snapped back here and now. "Oh!" she said. No, I'm sorry. I need to." She stooped down, bowing before the two noble ponies. "I'm sorry, your lordship, your grace. I forgot how to." "It's all right," Justice Fragrant said, only swearing a little and using a hoof to indicate Carrot Top's rise. As Carrot Top did, the Duchess continued. "Noble pony and gentry and commoner and every in between are mingling freely enough tonight. I don't think it makes much sense for any pony to bow. Every pony but the princess would spend the entire night on their knees." Baron laughed heartily at that, but Carrot Top offered just a smile. This sounded much like her niece, though with more of an edge to her voice. Nothing threatening. She was simply not a pony afraid to speak to others. Unlike Fireside. "Thank you, your grace," Carrot Top said. "If you'll excuse, you look familiar." Posy interrupted, tapping a hoof to her mouth. "Are you Carrot Top by any chance?" At Carrot Top's nod, Frank's smile grew warmer. "Then you would be my niece, Fluttering's new friend." Carrot Top wasn't certain she'd ever get used to the nobility recognizing her, but as long as Frankfurt did, she appreciated the Duchess was focusing as her niece's friend, and not the element of generosity. "Yes, your grace, though I know her as Fluttershy." Frankfurt's expression changed at that. There was surprisingly familiar to Carrot Top. Her cheeks puffing a little as she frowned. It was basically the same look that Carrot Top herself got whenever she grew annoyed with something. Though the Duchess wasn't attempting to pout at Carrot Top in particular. "Oh," she seethed. "Rainbow Dash gave her that nickname. Fluttering likes it, but I always thought it was belittling." "I look it," Baron Mousy said. He waved a hoof in the air, as still tracking the gentle line of a butterfly. "Fluttershy. It sounds very sweet to demure. From what you told me of her, it sounds like it fits very well, and as long as she likes." "Oh, you are right, Duchess." Duchess Fragrant had turned to the Baron, directing her glare at them. The Baron tried to feel the burst into flames, or even understand he was being glared at. "Is that what they look like?" Carrot Top wondered. "I think she uses it because she doesn't want everybody to know she's a posy," she said out loud. "Not that she's ashamed, but she wants you to lead a quiet, simple life, and she does seem like that nickname, Your Grace." This is laid alongside that. "As long as she's happy. I'm afraid both my brother and I practiced too many expectations on her when she was a foal. She wanted to inherit the weather factory that I have. Difficulties, having foals of my own. Meanwhile, it's a Fluttering has been my heir apparent." Fragrant shook her head. "We are both less sensitive to Fluttering's own needs than we should have been. We spent years trying to make things up to her." Carrot Top blinked. Suddenly she felt like she had a missing piece to a puzzle at long last. So that's why Thunderous was so adamant about Rainbow Dash moving to Ponyville. She realized it wasn't just to look out for Fluttershy. He wanted to make things up to her. Fragrant nodded, though a touch of her scowl returned to the thought, again, of Rainbow Dash. Carrot Top got the sense that the Duchess thought of the Blue Pegasus as a negative influence on her niece. Even as the maitre d' approached the trio with a tray of drinks, Mrs. Zane, Carrot Top could tell from her eyes, even though her coat had changed color. The unicorn disguise glanced between Carrot Top and one of the offered drinks repeatedly. The intention was very plain, that the drink she was glancing at was safe, and the other two she was poisoned. "Appetit, lords and ladies," Mrs. Zane asked. Carrot Top's eyes widened. She had a second to think about what she was doing. Decided that this felt decidedly familiar. Finally reached out and grasped, one drink in each hoof, the poisoned ones. "To Fluttershy!" she declared, downing both wines quickly. They were fairly dry, but Carrot Top didn't know if it was the property of the wine itself, or the true poison contained therein. Baron Mounty, that's his fragrant, is a Zane in disguise, all stared at Carrot Top with eyes wide as he drank both glasses of wine. As did several of the other nearby gala attendees. Talking about blackmail was apparently not worth paying attention to, but a mayor trying to get Schlossed was. I like her. If nothing else, drinking 2 glasses of wine simultaneously gave Carrot Top time to think of an excuse for why she had. Once he finished, she shook her head, setting the empty glasses back onto the serving tray. She said, blinking a few times and shaking her head. She was going to regret doing that in about 10 minutes or so, and she just knew it. Oh, sorry. I'm still new to bumpy shoulders and nobility. No, I normally don't drink like that, I swear. That's a shame. I don't really feel the same time, Monty said. Honestly, plenty like you, with your obstacles to Equestria while still trying to lead a normal life. I don't know how you do it. I certainly could not. He looked at Fragrant. Isn't that right, Grace? Fragrant blinked a few times more. Carrot Top knew what he was probably thinking. This is my fluttering's newest friend. She held up her hose. I'm sorry, Your Grace. She apologized. I was just very thirsty and very worried. Ponyville's had so many problems recently, and my farm. My farm's geese just want to be torn up and worked on, and... Oh, I'm sorry, I'll go! Carrot Top bowed before the 2 nobles. It was a pleasure meeting you, Baron Monty. That's his fragrant, she said, before turning and stepping away. Glanced over her shoulder, saw the Baron shrugging and talking to Fragrant. Was still visibly shocked at the rapid change in character Carrot Top just displayed before her. As a Zane, however, there was no sign. Carrot Top grimaced, dabbing a hoof to an earring she wore. Trixie, she said softly, that might be another problem. I'm sorry. Did Zane go to Fisher? Trixie asked over their magical link. No, Carrot Top said. She said that he called molecles that would let him see the truth poison. So instead, she wanted me to help her with Baron Monty and Justice Flagrant. That's less than ideal. It, gets worse. See, the only way I could think of stopping them from drinking the poison that Suzanne tried to give them was to, thinking myself. There was a long pause at that. That seems familiar, Trixie said. I know. The funny thing is that poison took's even an ingredient. About that, Carrot Top said. What are the ingredients? If I need the Gaia to get to near Purgatory, I might be able to mix up a cure for myself. And either way, it might be better if I'm not around at midnight. Tracy paused again at that. Okay, she said quietly. Try to come back, though. Don't know what Suzanne might do when everything heads to the sun. But I was so sure that it was one of the butter bakers that destroyed it. Vicky explained. She swallowed blue blood. That way, your delicious dessert would reign supreme. I mean, you should have seen Joe's Utopia. It was a spectacular city, a dirty delight. How temptingly and delicious sprinkles and gusty clears like so incredibly edible, with glistening glaziness. But then there was Mila Miles Moose. Vicky licked her lips. Blue blood opened his mouth, but once again it was too slow. Oh, that mouth-wateringly marvelous moose tempted the taste buds with its silky, smooth, yummy, suckliness. So I had to figure out which criminal devoured the marzipan and marsipone or rain madness while leaving the trio of tasty treats untouched. Pinky was silent for a full second. Blue had to stare in disbelief at that. Finally opened his mouth to speak. Unfortunately, there was only one question he could ask. One thing he could say after listening to her talk non-stop for 2 hours about... Blue couldn't even remember what about. Are you real? Pinky said, tapping her up to her mouth. Good question. It reminds me of this one time I painted my room. It had been orange, but then it was pink. I mean, for a while, I just couldn't wrap my head around it. How very easy it was to change the identity of a thing simply by changing its color. Okay, I'm calling no on referencing Pinky wants his paint dry. Really? Rupert thought to himself as he sighed. I deserve this round of nonsense. I brought it upon myself. He reached the carrying table and was about to have some pints. He saw the bowl was empty for a last cup. And before he could say or do anything, Pinky handed her host, drank it, and threw away the disposable cup before Blue Blood could ever think of having any, all without breaking stride or realizing what she was doing. Blue Blood sighed again. He briefly considered trying to leave her behind, but he doubted he could slip away from her. He considered telling her in exacting terms to shut up already, but there was no doubt that this would cause a scene. If Vice Scout Blue Blood did not make Mares cry in public, not intentionally anyway, and make him look bad, so there was only one thing he could do at this point: try and listen to her. Blue Blood strongly suspected that he was not nearly drunk enough for such an endeavor, and set off to rectify that forthwith. Duke Greengrass had gotten to where he was in the night court through a combination of skill, guile, and ruthlessness. His special talent was normally weeding, but the Earth Pony had learned some time ago how to apply that to more than just a guardian. He could see weaknesses in others, and exploit them. It made him no few enemies, but he could always see his enemies as weaknesses, how to keep them down and out of his way. Those he decided to remove, to see that they would never rise in the night court, were not supposed to recover. This is why he found himself on what he otherwise hoped would be a fun, basically relaxing night off at the gala, where he did a little sniping and politicking, but mostly just enjoyed the ambiance. He instead found himself on the second level of the Ice Palace, staring down at the first floor bar, and more specifically, Trixie Littlemoon. No, she hadn't left the bar at all for the past 3 hours, except for a brief visit with Octavia. He did not know what she had done with the musician, but the Earth Pony was once again playing with her bandmates. Would not take another recess until well after dinner. Whatever it was, it probably wasn't anything that Greengrass had to worry about. Why, then, was he worried? The Duke treaded along the balcony's edge, continuing to stare down at Lula Moon. She was just drinking, albeit at measured sips. Apparently, her proclamation of intending to get drunk was merely bluster. She overall did not like how she was supposed to. She met with Nightlight, but that was only for a few minutes. It seemed more like an apology than anything. Shining Armor, too, had come by. The Blue Moon had walked them off with a few moments, out of Greengrass's sight, but she returned within moments. She was patching things up with the Starlight family, it seemed, and that made no sense. Lula Moon was an arrogant, bombastic mare. She was a compulsive liar. She was lazy, a braggart, a show-off. She was impulsive, and seemed to have no idea how to think or plan ahead. Hey! Trixie is no liar. She was entitled, convinced that she deserved the best, simply because she was Lula Moon. Greengrass had learned that some of the details regarding what sent Lula Moon running through Canterlot crying yesterday. Nightlight had challenged her belief in her own supremacy, and essentially forced her to choose between the town she was supposed to represent and her goals and ambitions. She should have been in a muscle and wreck right now, scurried off to Ponyville to hide under the covers, and childishly accused of Nightlight of being a monster, and construct a little fancy world where she was perfect and everyone else was out to get her. But she wasn't. She was here, flying in the face of all logic and reason in all her weaknesses. Greengrass grimaced before trying away from the balcony. He did not need to look at Lula Moon right now. He needed to think. The punch bowl had been revealed by now. He got a drink and stewed as he tried to eliminate what he suspected and focus purely on the information in front of him. Lula Moon had come to the gala with Blue Blood. Did that mean that Lula Moon and Blue Blood had cut some kind of deal? Why? She had no reason to favor him over Greengrass or Fisher. Indeed, Greengrass had anticipated his main rival for control of Lula Moon and the elements would be Fisher, not Blue Blood. Blue Blood was showing an awful lot of initiative in the Cumin, far more than he had in the past. That was a separate matter, and one that Greengrass would have to deal with as soon as the gala was done. Point was, Lula Moon and Blue Blood had split off from each other, almost. Lula Moon upon airing the gala. Blue Blood was now with some pink pony from the Ponyville. Trixie was at the bar, and nothing beyond that. What was the plan, the point, the purpose? With Lula Moon's ego roughly the size of the ice palace that Greengrass was in, surely the only reason she had come to the gala tonight was some kind of petty revenge. But surely she had more in mind than to simply belittle Greengrass outside the gala in verse, to go off and get drunk. What was her plan? So, you're Dick Greengrass, right? Greengrass blinked. His reverie interrupted as he looked for the source of the question. He found himself looking at a mint-green unicorn mare, Lyra Heartstrings, element of loyalty. Standing with her was a cream earth pony mare with curled pink and navy hair. That must have been her longtime mare friend, Bon Bon. Given whom he was facing, Greengrass had expected a look of contempt, or anger, or even just annoyance. Instead, Heartstrings looked more curious than anything. This, too, made little sense to Greengrass. This wasn't the same mare that he had tried to convince, via her mentor Octavia, to move away from Ponyville and her friends to work for him. Hadn't he arranged matters to try and destroy the career of Octavia later for betraying and failing him? Seems to be filled with indignation right now. That was how these things normally went. It's just that I don't think we've ever met face to face, Lyra said, as he sat down on her haunches. Sure, there was that whole sympathy thing, but I don't think we've actually introduced ourselves. Greengrass sighed. He finished his drink, setting the empty cup back on the table before looking at the unicorn. Miss Heartstrings, I'm not really in the mood right now to discuss the past. So can we just pretend that you said your piece, implied threats, and move on? Lyra blinked as Greengrass turned and walked back to the balcony, checking to make sure that Lunamoon was still where he had last seen her. And she was, drinking at a measured pace, passing the time and occasionally glancing round, but doing nothing else. It was maddening. It was reaching a point where he had to go down there and try to find himself what was going on, but he'd be flying blind if he did. He wanted more to work off than to face his persistence. Something. Anything. See, Arthur said, trying out the green grass. It's actually mostly because he spent most of the last 3 hours staring at my friend that we're here. Me and Baba would really prefer to be dancing and having fun. We can't let that slide. Trixie's had a horrible past few days, Baba continued. Just once. Just for tonight. Could you leave her alone? Greengrass raised an eyebrow at the earth pony mare, looking over her before doing likewise to Lyra. And what makes you think I had anything to do with that? Heartstrings and Bonbon's faces both lost expression. She told us, the unicorn deadpan, that you're meeting with her, about everything you did to keep her running around and not getting aid for Ponyville. Ah, Greengrass objected, raising a hoof. I think you will find that I had nothing at all to do with that point. The REMM is run by Voice for a Nightlight, and I am not a part of its decision-making committee, nor any organ attached to it. I had nothing to do with Ponyville being denied aid for as long as it was, and if Willow Moon had reached Nightlight sooner, there would have been no change at all. That's splitting hairs, and you know it, Lyra said. It almost makes it worse. You don't have anything to gain. I disagree. Greengrass objected, stepping past the two ponies. But that is neither here nor there, Miss Heartstrings. I have things I must attend to. Good night. Not going to happen, Heartstrings called out to Greengrass. The Duke paused, decided to turn around, looking back to the unicorn. Lyra was eyeing him. We're not ever going to side with you or any member of the Night Court. Not me, not Trixie, none of us elements. We just want to live our lives. If we have to protect Equestria, we will. But we're never going to be pawns in any of your schemes. Greengrass stared at a moment before chuckling, walking back up to Heartstrings and leaning in close. That's what they all say, Miss Heartstrings, he said in a low voice. But I've been playing the game for some time now. I've learned that inside each and every one of us, there's a nagging little weed of blackness that's waiting to boil up to the surface. For more than a few of us. He looked past Heartstrings and looked down at Lunamoon again. It's alright, Sprouted. He stepped away from the unicorn. Lunamoon is vainglorious and arrogant. She has had the smallest taste of real power from the princess before Corona returned. As he let it go to her head as easily as she lets her bourbon do so. She is a joke in the Night Court for her exploits, her inelegant attempts at political maneuvering. An almost comforting joke, as it shows that the princess can make mistakes just like the rest of us. But now that Blue Moon is the element of magic, oh, she hasn't done anything yet, but she will. It's her nature, her weakness. She can't help but play the game, and she won't help but be inept at it either. When she has brought herself and every pony around her to ruin, what then? You No, guys, I just thought about it. But, Greengrass is putting Pink Trixie into one category and saying things like he knows her just from first scale impressions and not seeing all the other sides that we know about her. Interestingly enough, I've been riffing on Mike's blog posts, and he's thinking the exact same thing as Greengrass. That a person is only one thing and that's it, there are no other sides. Weird how sometimes trolls can do things just as much as bad guys. This isn't a game, Bonbon accepted. Greengrass smiled. Maybe not, but I intend to win it anyway. Good night, Miss Bonbon. Miss Heartstrings. Greengrass turned and left, heedless of any attempt on the couple's part to stop him. He needed to talk face to face with Little Moon, to see her up close, to figure out what he thought she was up to. Was Blue Blood giving her direction now, perhaps? The Vice Scout had shown flashes of insight in the past. Yes, that had to be it. Little Moon was now Blue Blood's pawn, and Greengrass stopped when he saw a certain blue-coated alicorn approach him. Luna, despite being dressed like a commoner but for her simple black crown, still managed to convey a sense of royalty and dignity about her as he trotted towards the Duke, wings flaring to signal that a trail of ponies following her should left her for the moment. Greengrass had already spoken to the princess at the start of the gala, of course, as was proper. They exchanged like pleasantries, but nothing more. Even now, her face basically had a serene look as he approached, and he bowed. Greengrass, she said, I wonder if I may have a word with you in private? It wasn't a request. Princesses didn't really make requests, even if their words were phrased as such. The Duke bowed again in obstinance, hoping that whatever it was that Luna wanted, it would be quick so that Greengrass could get back to his little mystery. Of course, your majesty. Zane was not a happy pony. This did not describe her life in general. In fact, in general, she was quite a happy pony. She made ludicrous amounts of money from her various clients to do that, while by no means easy, did not require her to work long hours, nor strenuously unless something went wrong. And in fact, she had most of the year off, as it were. But right now, she was not a happy pony at all, as she stomped at Trixie Little Moon, glaring at her. Trixie seemed to sense the sage's approach, and looked behind her, one eyebrow raising a look on her fellow unicorn's face. Your friends are idiots, Trixie, Sazane said as she sat next to Trixie on one side. The other side was empty. Idiots are soft. I don't know, but this isn't working. Trixie blinked a few times as she looked around, took a measured sip of her bourbon, apparently having abandoned whatever cocktail she had been drinking at the start of the night. She tugged at one ear, tilting her head to the side a little. My friends are what? What are you talking about? She asked. Luna and Greengrass walked together out the rear doors of the Ice Palace, into the courtyard beyond. They put about 100 feet between themselves and the gala, before Luna stopped her trot, looking upwards at the stars and the moon that shone brightly in the sky, though the courtyard was still dark. This was rectified promptly, however, as Luna created a ball of blue light, and suspended in the air over the two of them. Greengrass, she said at length before turning around. She looked tired and disappointed. I have heard disconcerting things about you as of late. The Duke blinked, then bowed his head, looking Luna over. I don't know what you mean, Majesty. Indeed, Luna asked. Greengrass offered a smile. Expecting if you're referring to my attempts to gain political sway over the elements, of course, he said. Luna's lips pressed tightly together at that. Greengrass growled. Forgive me, Majesty, he said. I could understand how you might see such a thing as an inherently reprehensible act. Luna glared down at Greengrass. She ruffled her wings and looked him over. I am having a difficult time understanding how I could be anything other Greengrass, she said. Perhaps you could explain. Sazane glared at Trixie. Okay, first, she said. First that Pegasus lumberjack, Raindrops. She's scared of Blue Blood, so no dice there. Then Nightlight showed up, and I was all set to use the surface as scourge on him, but that walled-eyed, bubbled-eyed, blind friend of yours knocked it over. So, fine, I think to myself, dust her eyes, probably an accident, can't help herself. Then, Charlie, she says she's used to stuff already on Poussons. I don't know if I believed her, though. 'Cause the farmer, Carrot Top, she drank the glass I've poisoned for malting and fragrant. Trixie opened her mouth, raising up before pausing. You've never really done anything like this before, she said, setting her drink on the bar. I guess I could see how every pony involved might be squeamish. They're not part of the nice court's infrastructure like you or me. They agreed to this plan, Trixie, Suzanne said. So did I. Though stars knows why. But if they don't have the guts to follow through at all, then I'm done wasting my time. Trixie grimaced. Look, I never thought this would be easy. It is easy. All this stupid plan is just dropping a few doses of poison into some drinks. How hard is that? I managed to get Fisher and Greengrass. Actually, maybe that isn't right, Piggy Pie said. If I used the old orange paint rather than just paint over it, then that old paint might have been the blood of the room, and then the metaphor would have worked. Without thinking about it, Piggy Pie took the glass of punch from Blue Blood and drank it down. She wasn't being malicious in doing so, though, Blue Blood realized. She was actually quite friendly, though that may have been a quarter bottle straight vodka talking. He had one straight vodka, but Pinky kept drinking his punch that he'd been intending to mix with it. I see, Blue Blood said. The way I see it, since the paint on your hose was new paint, it's more like you give an orange room new blood. New blood? Pinky asked. No, Blue Blood said. Some distant part of his mind registered that he probably could not hold his vodka, though he might have been better doing it if he needed more coming to the gala. Pinky brightened. Rather than sending his old blood! Pinky exclaimed. So instead of having burned the room, it was like I'd given him too much life, and it overwhelmed him with unbearable liveliness. Blue Blood sympathized. I repeat, I'm calling no on Pinky wants his paint dry. Personally, of that author's work, I think the games ponies play is a much better written material. The mystery is better, the story flows better, and the characters are better. Plus, Pinky Wants His Paint Dry is good in this fun introspective type of thing, and the joke works. However, I think she put way more of her effort, and there's a lot more emotion connected with games ponies play. Thank you very much. And of course, leaving all of that aside, Greengrass finished. The fact that is, Equestria is currently protected from the tyrant's son, your majesty, by 6 mayors from a town on the edge of our nation, with no political standing whatsoever. Greengrass bowed his head. I'm sorry if I come off as aggressive, your majesty, but with the fate of Equestria hanging in the balance, how can I not be? Luna still disappointed. You should have all faith in them, Greengrass, she said, aunt and my apprentice. Greengrass put on his best sympathetic smile at that. With respect, Majesty, he said, I feel you may have erred in taking on Lily Moon. She has done very little to embarrass herself, and by extension you, the Ice Palace, for example, or that business with Baron Flouting. Luna looked at Greengrass. She means well, Greengrass. As we do all, Majesty, Greengrass said, bowing, and I have no doubt she is still trying her hardest. But I do not believe there is a pony in the entire Night Court who is entirely comfortable with the knowledge that Lily Moon is the element of magic. Indeed, we don't even know what being the element of magic actually means for Trixie. It's the ambiguity that frightens us. So yes, Majesty, I will admit that I've been trying to gain political sway over the elements, but not for my own desires, for the good of Equestria. Could you repeat that? Trixie asked. Suzanne shook her head. I got Fisher and Greengrass myself. Point of fact is, at this point, I think you would use that fancy little earring of yours. Don't think I don't know about it. To tell your friends to back off and just let me work. Then maybe we could get something done in time for midnight. Trixie blinked. You want to poison the Night Court yourself, she said. To be frank, I probably have. I spiked the punch. All of it, I think. But I can't be sure until I see them drink it. So yes, Trixie, I want to poison the Night Court myself. Trixie stared for a long moment, then smiled as she stepped back from the bar and spread her heart hose wide. Her hung glowing bright blue, and there was a blue flash as a cloud of blue smoke appeared from nowhere. The smoke roiled off of whatever it was covering immediately, dissipating to nothingness within seconds. The invisibility spell, for what it was, dispelled by Trixie. Zane found herself face to face with a white-coated, blue-maned stallion, looked suspiciously like shining armor, captain of the Royal Guard. If the ambiguity of the element's poison worries you, Greengrass, Luna said, then you won't have to worry much longer. I intend to rectify the situation tonight at dinner. As for the rest, I do believe that you are genuinely acting with the best interests of Equestria as your primary goal. My only goal, Princess. I promise you that.
Maybe that's what life was all about in the end,
Pinky said. Flipwas had drank another shot of vodka. Pinky had tried some. Now she was beginning to slow down what she said. Though, not much. She was a philosophical drunk, it seemed.
accepting loss and change, and finding a way to work around it and move on.
Maybe, Booba concurred. You find Pinky's tirade very deep and profound. If you thought you remembered it come morning. Given the speed at which the vodka was disappearing, that seemed unlikely.
What?
Sasane exclaimed. She didn't even try to keep her voice down. She bent away from shining armor, ready to a pair of night guards. Her horn glowed, but shining armor reacted just a fraction faster. Her horn was suddenly encased in a pink field of energy, and no magic could penetrate it. All around, various ponies were looking at interest. Trixie rose from her bow. She had actually bowed.
I said I wanted to take down the Night Court, Z,
she said with a wide grin on her face.
But I'm not going to do that by bribing or blackmail. That's what got it to the state in the first place.
She pointed a hoof at Zane.
You're not part of the solution. You're part of the problem! This is entrapment!
Zane exclaimed. Actually, shining armor put in, as he stood. It's a sting. Entrapment is cursing you to do something you wouldn't otherwise. But we both know that's not the case. Shining armor looked around at the ponies who were staring in. Move along, folks. Nothing to see here. Trixie's grin grew wide indeed.
Pony like you, Zane. How many members of the Night Court have you worked for? How much dirt is under your hooves? That's what I was after. That was my plan.
Trixie held her to the front hose.
I'm sorry. It was the only way. Except, I'm not really all that sorry. Nevertheless,
Luna continued, I want you to stay away from Trixie and the other elements. I want you to show some trust in my choice of apprentice. Trixie is stronger than you know. Greengrass held a scowl. No, she wasn't. Greengrass had seen a dozen ponies like Trixie. Arrogant, abrasive, vainglorious. Again, this is the exact same conversation I was having with Mikan. The Night Court was full of them. Trixie had an ego to match any of the three of them combined. They had no understanding of the stakes of the game, no appreciation for its nuances. Even Luna seemed content to merely drift through the centuries as nothing more than an observer, a nearly useless, ineffectual leader. The Night Court is a game, and I intend to win, he thought. Suzanne stared at Trixie. You forgot something? She hissed. I spiked the punch bowl. I wonder how many ponies here have had a drink tonight. Shining hormones glowed, encasing Suzane's entire body in a pink globe, even as the first one around her horn remained in place. Your horn is out of commission, he observed. Suzane closed her eyes, squinting wickedly. She took in a drink, put a hoof to Iron Armor's bubble, and simply pushed forward through it with no apparent effort. Once free, she shook her head. The glove around her horn was thrown off like nothing more than a child's hoofball. Her whole entire body was glowing with jagged, chaotic magic. Suzanne opened her eyes. Both had become tiger-slitted and red as she looked around and stunned Trixie in shining armor. I don't need my horn to do magic, she said, then whinnied, rising up and stamped on the ground. There was a burst of magic. Do I have your word, Greengrass? Luna asked. Greengrass bowed. Of course, your majesty. There was a burst of magic. You useless cow!